Thanks for tuning in. Today I'm going to show you how you can fix the headlights on your GM truck. Today I'm going to be working on a 2015 Yukon, but these procedures are going to be pretty much the same for the Tahoe, Suburban, and Cadillac Escalade. You can see the daytime running light on this headlight is out. It should have a nice white LED strip around it, but it's not working on this one. I'm going to have to take it out and see what the problem is. Unfortunately, to get the headlight assemblies out of these trucks, you have to take the grille, the bumper cover, and a few other pieces off. It's a little involved, but it's not going to take very long. Let me show you how to do it. First thing we need to do is take this big plastic piece off above the radiator, and there's these little plastic clips all across it. Take a screwdriver and pry the center up. And when that pops up like that, then you can pull the clip out. Well, this one came apart. This clip comes out. Next, you need to remove a couple of bolts across the top of your grille and where your bumper cover comes up to the radiator support. There's going to be a wiring harness that comes up from the bottom of your bumper for your fog lights or whatever kind of auxiliary lighting you have. You just slide back this little red clip, and then you can push down and separate the plug. In your wheel well, you're going to find a bunch of little bolts that hold the bumper cover in. You need to take those out. Now you want to kind of try and wiggle this out and hopefully not break any of the clips. A few more underneath, and do the same thing on the other side. And underneath, in the center, you're going to have a few more go into a bracket. Right down here, next to the leaf, there's a clip. Can't get the camera in there, but that's going to have to be popped to get it out. I don't know if I can get my arm down in there or if I'm going to have to try it from underneath. Let's see. I used this big old screwdriver from underneath and just pushed up on the clip. As you can see, it's a pretty simple process to change the headlight assemblies. Just pull the whole front of the truck off, and then you can take one of the headlights off. And then just wiggle it, and it should come out. And just like the other harness, you need to pull this red clip back. And then press in and wiggle the connector to get it off. As I said earlier, the LED daytime running light isn't working on this. You might want to check your fuses because, believe it or not, on the Yukon, there's a separate fuse for left and right. I could just go out and get a whole new headlight assembly. These things are like $1,000 a piece. I don't have that kind of money. I'm going to see if I can fix it. I'm just going to take these 3 screws out with the Torx to remove this bracket. Now, believe it or not, I'm going to take this headlight, put it in the oven. Make sure it's not touching the sides or the back. Now I'm going to set the oven to its lowest setting and give it about a half hour. Hopefully that's going to soften up the plastic so we can work with it. What we need to do is bend these tabs out of the way. I had to bump the temperature up to about 225. Just have to kind of take your time with the heat and see. You want to bend these out of the way so they don't cause us problems when we cut through the seals. If it's not going to bend, put it back in the oven. You may have to turn your temperature up slightly. I think that's all the tabs. Now I want to see if I can get some of this goo out of here. I'm just going to keep working my way around, trying to cut through the sealant. After you get all that sealant out of the housing, put it back in the oven for about 15 minutes, let it get soft again, and then go back and straighten all your tabs out. That way when we seal it back together, the tabs will catch back onto the clear cover of the headlight and hold it back in place. I tried using a heat gun on the sealant that was originally on here. I don't recommend that. You're just going to have to take your time, get in there with a screwdriver or a pair of pliers, pull at it, scrape it. But the heat gun just turned it to goo and made it even harder to get out. So it's better to just go the old-fashioned way and have at it with the scraper. The LED strip isn't working on this light, and it's supposedly because of corrosion on this board. I'm going to take the board out and check it out, and you can see that I have corrosion on these screws here, which is kind of strange because there was no condensation at all in this headlight. But to take this apart to get the board out, you just need a 15 torques and take all these screws out. And again, be careful what you're touching. You don't want to mar the reflective surface of the light. Alright, supposedly the corrosion right here in this corner, which is the one spot on this board where there wasn't a screw, is what's causing the problem. You need to put a jumper wire in from here to another spot on the board. I'll show you as we start running the wire. I need to run a jumper wire from right here to right here, and that should fix the problem, at least if those people on the internet box are correct. Let's give it a shot. So you want to solder the wire into this hole and then stick the other end of it through this hole and solder it to the little round disc that you'll see right here. So you bend the wire over a little bit. Now let's plug it in and see if it works. All right, before I glued the headlight back together, I plugged it back into the harness, made sure everything was working. Just gooped it up and snapped right back into place. Make sure you take the time to bend those tabs back. Got everything back together, and as a bonus, no factory non-essential parts left over. Saved myself $1,000 by soldering that little piece of wire into the circuit board. Hopefully I'll get another 100,000 miles out of it. I'll put a link in the description below where I found the information on how to do this repair. Shout out to Brent for figuring it out. One more thing. If you're having trouble with your tail lights on your Yukon, the LED lights around there, part of it's working or the whole thing's completely out, I'll put a link right up here. Check out this video. This guy figured out a way to fix these lights pretty easy. A couple of screws, cut the housing a little bit of solder. Check it out. Thanks for watching The House Doctor. Hope you come back soon.